love silver, and I really love old silver. I think I inherited my love for silver from my mother. She had me polishing silver when I was just a little bitty girl getting ready for holiday meals. I'd like you to look over some of my silver and see if you have as much appreciation for the things that I've collected over the years as I do. Okay, let's look at my collection. I have some nice big pieces of silver, and I have some silver that's probably kind of small and meaningless, but together I think it's a pretty awesome collection. I bought and sold a lot of silver, and the pieces that I've saved here are things that have sentimental value, or they're just so pretty that I couldn't part with them. So let's look here. This is a set of Kirk Thief silverware that I inherited from my mother-in-law. This was her wedding silver, and it has all these great pieces with it. I thought this was highly unusual. This is called an ice cream fork, and I guess you can have your cake and ice cream and eat them both with this piece. If you'll notice, every one of these pieces is hand monogrammed, and when I had these appraised, the appraiser told me that each monogram, because it was done so skillfully, each monogram added $17 per piece to each of the pieces of silver, and it's a huge set. I also collect a lot of serving pieces, as you'll see, and these serving pieces I actually use on holidays or when I entertain or when I just want to make a big impression. So, and then I collect the souvenir spoons as well. Let me show you just a few of those, some of them that are my favorites. I have one that has a little windmill on the handle, and let me see where that one went. Windmill, where are you? Well, we'll skip the windmill. I'll find it in a second. I have a little Dutch girl on one. There's the little Dutch girl. You can see her. And then I have all kinds of interesting little spoons, and a lot of them have dates and names on them. This one's got a little rooster on it. And here's one with a little angel. And I display these in a glass-fronted cabinet so they don't tarnish so quickly. Okay. And some of them have very, very intricate work on them. This one is a Rolex commemorative. See, it has the word Rolex on it and has a little symbol on it. Still haven't found my windmill. I just saw it when I was putting them out. And anyway, these are, oh, here it is. Here we go. And the little windmill turns around. And then some of them, as I said, have the name of the places. For example, this one says Chicago, Illinois on it. And it's got a Native American face on it, and you can see it's the bronze color of the face, very intricate. So I have lots of commemorative spoons. Then also, I have a set of sterling silver that is very old, and this predated the time when teaspoons came with sterling flatware, and so these are the sterling handles, and the blades are not sterling, but the handles are, and of course there's the forks. And then the person who had these gave me at the same time these sterling silver spoons here that went with them, and I thought I had 6 of them. I may have one in another collection, but there were 6, and they all have the same family's monogram on them. This is another group of spoons that I collect and kind of keep separate. I keep them in my china cabinet in this spoon holder, and there's lots of them, and I can't go over every single one, but there's some pretty neat spoons. One of the things back in the olden days, ladies used to receive spoons as gifts, and they would have their name engraved on them. So I've got Clara, I've got Bessie, there's a couple of Bessies there, and then some with just an initial on them. You'll see they would put their initial. And some of these are also souvenir spoons as well. This one, if you'll notice on the back of it, it has 1914 engraved on it, and then it's got the initial D. And I just think these are charming. And as I said, I've bought and sold a lot of silver and a lot of spoons, but I love these, and whenever I saw one that really intrigued me.
Where do you buy? You say you've bought and sold lots. Where do you?
Well, I have a dealer who buys a lot of silver from me, and I just scour. Whenever I'm in a thrift store or in a yard sale, I'm always looking for a spoon. And a lot of times people don't even realize that what they have in their pile of spoons is sterling. And here's some more with names on them. This one is a commemorative. It says, it's got very in small print there, it's got the word Louisiana, and I believe this was a big souvenir that tourists used to take home long ago. And now look at these. These are, this one actually, notice on this one, the bowl of the spoon has an engraved building on it, and it says Rice Lake, Wisconsin, and I'm sure that's some famous building from Rice Lake, Wisconsin. And that one doesn't have a year on it. This one's someplace in Illinois, and they're just beautiful. The workmanship is amazing.
You said a moment ago that some people might not even know the difference and not know they're valuable, and that's why you could find them in a thrift store or such. Can you elaborate on what you mean by not knowing the difference?
Well, you'll always see back on the back of the spoon somewhere they will say either the word sterling or they'll have the number 925, and 925 is the definition of the amount of the purity of the silver. So 925 is what defines sterling.
I hear the term plated a lot. What does that mean?
Well, I do have some beautiful silver plate items that I have collected just because they're so lovely, but I don't count them as anything of having any value. And let me just show you a couple of silver plate items that I have bought. You'll see written on the back of a spoon or some kind of silver, it'll say EPNS, and that means electroplate, nickel silver, so that just means they're plated. And here's some real pretty items. Now this one is something I inherited from my grandmother, and I just love it. And this is a butter knife, but it is not sterling. There's no 925 on the back of it. Here's a pretty ladle. Again, it's beautiful. The workmanship is lovely, but it's not sterling. And here's one with this actually engraved, but it's not sterling. This one says 1847 Rogers. That's a dead giveaway that it's plated.
I see you reached over off of the table to get your examples of plated silver. Does that mean that every single piece on the table here that we're seeing is sterling silver?
Everything is sterling silver. Now, for example, here's an old carving set, and the fork part is not sterling, but the handle is sterling. So I have pieces.
Why would that be? Because it maybe goes into the fire, or?
Well, just you wouldn't want to use the sterling silver end. Like, for example, on knives, generally a knife won't have. Nowadays they'll make them out of stainless. So that goes there. And I have a nice collection of iced tea spoons, and I have several. There's actually parts of 3 sets here. There's 2 sets and then a couple of odds and ends. And these are kind of interesting because as well as being a spoon to stir with, they're also a straw. And you can suck up your beverage with that. And here's a nice sterling silver tea ball. You can put loose tea leaves in there and then just steep your tea. And I have actually used this. And I have some very beautiful candlesticks here. They're not very heavy, they're not really thick, but they're just beautiful and elegant. And you can see the detail work that's done here, just beautiful. And also detail work here. And they make a beautiful setting for a Thanksgiving or a Christmas table. And this is one of my silver bud vases. I had 3 of these, but I think perhaps a couple of them have found their way into my daughter's china cabinets. This is another thing I'd like to point out. I just love these. These are mother of pearl handled fruit knives. I have an entire set, And then I have a couple of the little forks as well, and a serving piece, and a little cheese knife. And so I have quite a few of these down here on the table.
How much would that increase the value of that silver set?
I've never bought or sold these. I just have found them and collected them and loved them, so I'm not real sure about the value. Just the fact that they're old and they're lovely and it's real mother of pearl, it just make me happy. And as well as some of the ornate pieces, I have some that are kind of considered Art Deco, more of a craftsman style. And I have another spoon over here that I wanted to refer to along this line. And see how this is not like the Victorian look. It's more of a more modern feel to it. It's got the flat silver, just beautiful. Oh, George Jensen, that's who it is. He's a very famous silversmith. So I have several pieces by him. Now this piece you had asked me about earlier when we were having our production meeting. This is a sugar shell, and this would typically be used to spoon silver or to spoon sugar, or you could pick up sugar cubes with it. And along that same line, I have a lot of little tongs that I've collected as well, and some of them are just lovely. This one in particular, look at the bird claw, and then of course you would dip into a sugar bowl and pick up your little sugar cube. And I've done ladies' teas before where I use these kind of items with sugar cubes. It's very elegant. And I know a lot of people who collect silver think that bullion is the only thing that's worth collecting, but I enjoyed these for the value and the collectability of them. I also use them on a daily basis. Let me show you some of my big serving pieces.
Before you go there, can I ask you a question about the bullion comment you just made? Do you shy away from collecting bullion? Do you not recommend collecting bullion?
I have another video planned to show some of the bullion that I have. I collect mostly coins. However, I'm starting to be interested in bars and rounds. So, but these are very weighty pieces here. I will show you. Lovely, lovely serving pieces. Look at that. Isn't that just lovely? You could do some damage with that. Now, this is probably my favorite piece in my entire collection. It was handmade, and it's a tongs, and it's got the flat tong on the bottom, and then you can come down. But look at that bird claw. And this is very ornate. That was hand pounded, and then all the very ornate ends of it, sterling silver. And more beautiful tongs. This one is more in a floral. Again, this is the hand pounded design on it, and that's actually done by putting the silver over a design and hammering it. And then the ever popular seashell pattern.